Hello and welcome. My name is Alessandra and this is Fitscope. I am your yoga teacher and I'm going to be guiding you through a 50-minute 5-0 yoga sequence on backbending. So backbends are extremely liberating and they can be really intense, but they're also like helping to reverse a lot of what we might tend to do. So texting, driving, all that kind of stuff, just opening up, especially your upper back. So I just want to remind you as we begin that backbends really should be coming from your thoracic spine, from your upper back more than your low back. So your low back is obviously going to participate in some fashion, but I just don't want to overdo that. So if you feel discomfort in your low back ever during this practice, back off, take it a notch down. It's just not worth it. And it really should be coming from your upper back. So we're going to try to open up this area so that when we do come into those back bends, it feels like a big opening in your chest and in your upper back, and it feels accessible. So we're going to start on 2 blocks. So hopefully you have 2 blocks handy. If you have just like a big firm pillow and you want to do that instead, that's fine. And we're going to use it to support ourselves in a supported back bend. So ideally you have your 2 blocks. You can also play around with the heights on this. So I have one set up on the medium height. That's going to be for my shoulder blades. And the one back behind that is going to be for the back of my head. So again, it can also be like this. So whatever height you want to do, I'm going to start on the medium height because I want to feel like a little bit of a deeper opening. If that feels like too much, then bring it down a notch. So you're going to come onto your back and you're going to line up that block for your shoulder blades, and you're supporting your shoulder blades. So the tips of your shoulder blades are on that block, and then your head can rest back behind that. And ideally, usually you want the block behind that to be a little higher. So if you are on like a pillow instead, maybe drape like a blanket across the top of the pillow so that your head is just a little higher than your heart. And then any variation with your legs. Maybe you want to start to get into the hips a little bit. A lot of backbends do require some hip opening, so you can bring the bottoms of your feet together and the knees out to the sides. Take that variation. Or maybe just feet flat on the mat, knees knock in, or you can extend the legs out onto the mat. For right now, I want the focus to be on the upper back. We will get into the hips in a deeper way. So whatever variation with your legs that feels good. Arms are down by your sides, palms facing up. This should feel restful, right? So you can give yourself what you need to like adjust. I don't want it to feel like a pinching. I want it to feel like an opening through your chest. Just relax completely down here. Get comfortable, and then bring your awareness to your breath. With every breath, can you soften a little more? Trying to maintain a nice smooth breath here, right? The breath is also king, right? So let your breath inform your movement. If the breath starts to stop or get very, very tight or rushed, that is an indication maybe that you need to back off or just rethink the pose. Take this nice smooth breath, your facial muscles are relaxed. Start to make this even a deeper back bend. So you can start to bring your arms out to the sides like cactus arms, right? So you're bending at the elbow 90 degrees. You're trying to draw your elbows down towards the floor. Depending on how high you made your chest, maybe the elbows do touch the floor, or maybe you're just trying to draw the elbows back and down. From there, inhale, start to reach your arms up and back behind you. The palms can face one another now. So again, reaching the arms up and back, just opening through the chest, even more through the shoulders as well. Maybe you can clasp onto your elbows for a moment. Just reach those elbows back. Switch the crossing of your elbows if you had that, just reaching those elbows and arms up and back. Gently release the arms down. If the legs were out to the sides, with the help of your hands, bring them back together. Just as gracefully as you can, just come off of those blocks, rolling to one side. And just briefly take those blocks off of the mat, and you're going to come to lie back down onto the mat, and hopefully feeling the imprint of those blocks back behind you. There's already so much openness and freedom through the chest. From here, just gently draw your knees in towards your chest. This is Apanasana, just drawing the knees in. And maybe for a moment, you bring one knee in each hand, just move the knees around independently from one another, starting to get into the hips. And then bring your feet flat on the mat. I want your heels to be under your knees. So if you were to graze for your feet, you could just barely reach them. And bring your arms down by your sides. Lift your forearms away from the mat. Fingertips point straight up. Inhale, 2 brief bridge poses. Inhale, lift the hips up. Scooch the flesh of your shoulders under. And exhale, vertebra by vertebra, bring it back down to the mat. Let's do that 2 more times. I lied. So it's 3 total. Inhale, lift your hips up. You're pressing through the heels, scooching the flesh of your shoulders under, press into the arms, and exhale, lower it back down, vertebra by vertebra. Last time. Inhale, lift those hips, press through the arms, inner thighs draw down, and exhale, vertebra by vertebra, bring it back down to the mat. Extend one leg at a time onto the mat. Reach through the heels, arms are down by your sides. Inhale, reach those arms up and back behind you. Being mindful, trying not to puff out the ribs here, right? So maybe your arms don't come all the way back behind you. You're reaching them up and back, being truthful, honest with your shoulders. My shoulders are a little bit tight, so I might not touch the floor back behind me. My low belly keeps lifting. I'm reaching in both directions. And then again, hug your knees in towards your chest and make your way up to a seat. So you can rock to one side, prop yourself up, and then come onto all fours. So you're coming onto hands and knees. Knees are under your hips. Just 3 big cat-cows here. Your shoulders are over your wrists. Fingers are spread wide. Inhale, heart reaches forward. Exhale, round the whole spine. Press the floor away from you. Inhale, heart reaches forward. Exhale, round. And last time, inhale, heart reaches forward. And exhale, round. And find a neutral position. Bring your knees a little wider than your hips and take a child's pose, resting your forehead on the mat. Extend through the arms, so active arms here. Reaching through those fingertips, press through the whole hand. Make space for your neck. Can your outer upper arms wrap down towards the floor? Press through all 10 fingers evenly as you do that. Think of a gentle pressing of the upper back into the chest. Then move your hips away from your heels, curl your toes under, and take a downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out the feet one at a time here. Couple more breaths, maybe starting to find stillness. Maybe you take a bend in both knees, lengthen your pelvis up and back. And again, there's a gentle pressing of the upper back into the chest, and you counter that by lifting your low belly. So much room for your neck. Again, outer upper arms, wrap them back towards your feet. And at the bottom of your next exhale, gaze up to the hands and step up to that space. Gaze at your feet. Make sure they're hips distance, really just about 2 fists distance. Parallel your feet. On an inhale, come up halfway, lengthen through the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle the arms up, reach up, lengthen up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Just 3 Surya Namaskara A's, Sun Salutation A's, connecting movement with breath, warming up through the body. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lengthen, heart lifts. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to plank pose. Take an inhale there. Exhale, lower down. Knees maybe come down first, or you come down in one piece. Let's start with low cobra. Tops of the feet on the mat, elbows back, shoulders back. Lift up, low cobra. And exhale, press it up to all fours. And take a downward facing dog and hold. At the bottom of your next exhale, gaze between the hands and step up to that space between your hands. Inhale, halfway lengthen, heart reaches forward. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, circle the arms up, reach up, lengthen up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, and lower down to the mat. Knees maybe come down first, elbows by your sides all the way down. Inhale, back bend, low cobra, maybe up dog. If you're an up dog, hold for an extra breath. Your shoulders are over your wrists. Inner thighs draw up. Press into the hands, lift your chest further up, and exhale, low belly lifts you up and back. Downward facing dog. Hold. At the bottom of your next exhale, gaze between the hands, step up to that space. Inhale, halfway lift, heart lengthens. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, circle the arms up, reach up, gaze up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, lower down. Maybe knees come down first, elbows by your sides all the way down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. From that down dog, inhale your right leg up towards the sky. For a moment, you can open up the hip towards the side, bend the knee, start to stretch through that right hip flexor to the right side of the body. Can you lengthen your left hip away from your chest? Then start to straighten through that leg, square the hips towards the mat, step that foot between the hands. From here, maybe you bring your hand onto a block. So grab onto a block. Let's do it on the inside of the foot. So you can bring your hand onto that block, any height. Bring the back heel to the mat. So spinning the back heel to the mat, I want your right heel to be in line with your back arch. So maybe you move that right foot over towards the left. I want those front heel, back arch, one line. Bring your right hand onto the inside of the foot, onto that block, any height that you need on that block. And start to open up your chest towards the side. Reach your left arm up towards the sky. Your right hip draws back here, right? And your hand is on the inside of the leg. There's a gentle pressing of the arm into the leg and the leg into the arm. That's going to keep your hip stable, and it's going to keep your knee tracking over those toes. And then this top arm, turn the palm to face the front of your mat. So turning the palm to face forward and reach it up and overhead. And again, same rotation in the arm that we've been talking about, that outer upper arm, can you wrap it down towards the floor? It's like the pinky edge of your hand that's extending is drawing towards the floor. But keep your chest nice and open towards the side. Keep plugging that right hip back. Extended side angle pose, holding. Great. Gaze down at your right foot. Can you keep that bend in your knee? Start to reach your left arm up towards the sky. Bring it up to warrior two for a moment. Chest is open towards the side, the knee stays bent. And then straighten through that right leg. You can shorten your stance by about a footprint here, coming into triangle pose. So start to reach through your right fingertips. Reach, reach, reach. Reach towards the side, towards the right. Chest stays open towards the side. The left hip is coming forward a little bit. Reach, 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 and then reach down. Maybe you grab onto your foot, to the block, which is right there. And this time, if you're on the block, bring it to the outside of the foot to open up your chest more. Feel like you can lean back into an imaginary wall. Right hip cuts back. Your legs are straight now, right? Maybe a tiny micro bend in that right leg so that you don't hyperextend. And gaze down at that right foot and start to bend that knee. Bring your hand down to frame your foot. You can move that block out of the way. You're going to step it back to plank pose, lower down to the mat, maybe knees come down first. Back bend, low cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts up. Turn the hips to open towards the side of your mat. You can bend that left knee. Right hip cuts back. Start to open up and stretch through that hip flexor and through the side body as you try to get long through the right side body. Then start to straighten the legs, square out the hips towards the mat. On a deep exhale, step that foot between the hands. Back heel spins to the mat. Front heel, back arch in one line. Bring your block to the inside of your foot. And then again, with that arm, it's kind of flush against the leg. Start to open up your chest towards the side. You can reach your right arm up towards the sky. So knee tracking straight over those toes. There's a gentle pressing of the arm into the leg, leg into the arm, keeping everything nice and stable. Then turn this left palm to face forward. Reach it up and over. And as it reaches up and over, can you lengthen your neck? Create space for your ear. And again, pinky edge of that hand faces down. So this outer upper arm wraps down. It's going to open up the backs of your shoulders. Same thing we want to do in those bigger back bends. Low belly keeps lifting. And then start to gaze down. Reach through the right arm up towards the sky. Stay low in the leg. Bring yourself up to warrior two. Just trying to stay low in that leg, maybe widening your stance a little bit. And start to straighten through that right leg. Step the left toes in, maybe by about a footprint. So now the legs are straight. You're pressing a little more through the big toe mound of that front foot. Reach through the left fingertips, and as I reach, my pelvis tilts over that left leg. Reach, 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 reach. Chesting open towards the side. Reach through the left fingertips, and then eventually reach down, which you really can't reach anymore. You can bring your hands onto that block to the outside of your foot now, and your right arm reaches straight up towards the sky. There's a little scissoring action of your inner thighs. Lengthen your left hip back. Chest is open. And I'm gazing up at my hand. If that feels like it's cranking on your neck, then don't do it. The reason that I gaze up is just to encourage my chest, my rib cage, to open up towards the ceiling. And then start to gaze down. And bring your hands down to frame your foot. Move that block out of the way. And step it back. Lower down chaturanga, knees maybe come down first. Back bend of your choice, low cobra or up dog. Lift up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding. And from here, reach your right leg up towards the sky again. And exhale, step that foot between the hands. Back heel spins to the mat. And bring yourself up and over, and you're going to straighten both legs, and I'll actually turn to face you. So now your legs are just out to the sides, just a wide stance here. Your feet are parallel, right? Outer edges of your feet are parallel to the sides of your mat, and you can bring your hands onto your hips. So you're going to forward fold here, and if you know that the floor is going to be pretty far away, you can bring blocks for underneath or your shoulders. I'll have them on the medium height for now. Bring your hands onto your hips to start. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinging from the hips, start to forward fold over those legs. The weight is even in your feet, right? From the front of the foot to the back of the foot. Maybe you pitch the weight just a teensy bit forward so the back of the leg turns on. Elbows back, shoulders back. Lengthen through your spine. Then bring your hands down. So if they easily touch the floor, then bring them onto the floor. If they don't, then you bring them onto blocks. So my hands can pretty easily touch the floor. Your fingertips are in line with your toes. And if you're on blocks, again, those blocks can be in line with your toes. So I want to train the arms to do what we need them to do in those bigger back bends. So you're bending through the elbows a little bit. Elbows point straight back. They're not splayed out to the sides. Elbows straight back, kind of like chaturanga arms. Chest lengthens towards the floor. Maybe the crown of your head softens and it reaches towards the floor as well. There's a lengthening forward with your chest as your elbows reach back. And bring your hands onto your hips. Leading with your heart, bring yourself up to stand. And just step to the front edge of your mat. Bring your hands to your heart. Let's flow a little differently now. So feet together or hips distance. Inhale, bend the knees, reach through the arms for chair pose. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, heart lengthens. Exhale, plant the hands and lower down to the mat. Back bend on an inhale, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, back heel spins to the mat. This time you're heel to heel in one line, maybe even a little wider. Press through that front heel, reach the arms straight up for warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Trying to square everything towards the front. Let's hold here. So you're trying to bring that left hip forward. Inner leg is lifting on the back leg. With all of that, maybe you descend a little lower into that right knee. Trying to square everything towards the front. Get strong in that leg. Low back, no pinching, right? Low belly's lifting so you lengthen the back body. Reach your left arm forward for a moment, trying to square everything towards the front. Reach that arm up towards the thigh again. Last couple of moments here. Bend low into that front leg. Get strong through there. That frontal hip flexor is getting a stretch as well. We need that for those back bends. Last couple of moments here. Chest starts to lift up. Low belly keeps lifting. Maybe you gaze up. Maybe palms press. On an exhale, bring the hands down. Move through a vinyasa, stepping it back to plank pose. Lower down. Maybe knees come down first. Back bend, low cobra or up dog. And exhale, down dog. Step the left foot forward. Back heel spins to the mat. Heel to heel or wider. Press through that front heel. Reach the arms straight up, warrior one. Trying to square everything towards the front. I want you to feel a stretch in that right hip flexor. The inner thigh of that right leg wraps back behind you. From that stretching here, maybe you descend a little lower in the left leg. So getting strong through that thigh, getting open through that hip. And reach your right arm forward. We're not collapsing forward. We want length through the torso. The more length, the more you can think of lifting your hip points, the more stretch you'll get in that back thigh. Reaching that right arm forward. And then reach that arm up towards the sky again. Start to lift through the chest. Maybe that lifts your gaze. Maybe the palms press up above you. On an exhale, bring the hands down. Move through a vinyasa, stepping it back, lowering down to the mat. Back bend of your choice, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and let's hold. And at the bottom of your next exhale, gaze between the hands and step up to that space. Feet together or hips distance. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, reach through the arms, Utkatasana or fierce pose. Exhale, straighten the legs, hands come to your heart. Let's do that again. Bend your knees, reach through the arms. Let's hold this second chair now. Bring your hands to your heart. Reach your heart forward, twist towards the right. So you're trying to hook the elbow to the outside of your right leg, trying to keep your hands in prayer. Sometimes I release the prayer for a moment, grab onto my right thigh and really try to hook that elbow to the outside of the leg. Then bring your hands back to prayer. Gaze down at your knees. Are they in one line? Make sure they're in one line. That's going to mean that your hips are even. Then you can start to open up your chest towards the side, opening up the chest towards the side, trying to bring your hands to heart center. Can you bend lower through your hips? Heart lengthens up. Low belly lifts. Getting strong through the legs. Release the twist. Stay in the legs. You got this. Bring your hands to heart center. Heart forward and then twist towards the left. Maybe releasing the prayer hands for a moment to really hook your elbow to the outside of the leg. Bring your hands back to prayer. Gaze at your knees. Your right hip reaches back. Your hips and your knees are in one line. And start to open up the chest. Maybe you take the gaze towards the side. Trying to bring your hands to heart center, little up dog, like a back bend in the upper back. Can you descend lower through the hips, lift up more through the chest? And bring it back to chair pose for a breath, then forward fold, and then straighten through the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back. Lower down to the mat. Back bend, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up towards the sky. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. Back heel spins to the mat. Inhale, reach the arms straight up towards the sky. From here, straighten through that right leg and parallel your feet to the side. So I have my back to you for a moment so you can see what my arms are doing. Grab a hold of your strap. Put that strap onto your right shoulder, please. And you may or may not need it. Right arm out to the side, right arm up to the sky, left arm out to the side. Reach in both directions. Maybe you clasp onto your hands back behind you. Maybe you grab onto that strap. So give yourself what you need. Your ribs are not puffing out once you have that grip, right? Ribs stay in, lengthen up, and exhale, forward fold over the legs. Weight is maybe a little bit forward in the foot. Can you keep lifting your right elbow, trying to bring it in line with your ear? Gently start to make your way back up to stand. Release the grip that you have. Turn the right foot forward. Just take a bend in that leg and come back to plank pose. Lower down to the mat. Back bend, lift up, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. Back heel spins to the mat, heel to heel. Inhale, lift up, warrior one. Then straighten through that left leg, parallel your feet towards the side. And again, grab a hold of your strap. You can bring it onto your left shoulder now, or whichever shoulder you did first. And you bring it onto the other one. Feet are parallel to the sides of your mat. Reach your left arm up towards the sky, right arm out to the side, get long. And then maybe you clasp onto your fingers, or maybe you clasp onto that strap. Ribs stay in the body. Inhale here. Exhale, start to forward fold over the legs. So again, maybe weight pitching a little forward into the foot. Relaxing everything down here as much as you can. On an inhale, gently make your way back up to stand. Gently release the interlace that you have. Move that strap off to the side. Turn the left leg out. Just bend that knee. Step it back to plank pose. Lower down, maybe knees come down. Back bend, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts again. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. Back heel spins to the mat, heel to heel. Inhale, reach the arms straight up towards the sky. Straighten through that front leg. Step the back toes in a little bit and bring your hands onto your hips. So you're stepping the back foot in enough that your both hip points can really square towards the front edge of your mat now. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start to forward fold over that front leg. So your legs are straight. You're pressing a little more through the big toe mound of that front foot so the back of the leg turns on. Lengthen, maybe pause with your spine nice and long, parallel to the mat. And then maybe have a block handy and have that. Let's do it first on the inside. And if you have the mobility, maybe bring it onto the outside. And bring your hands down for a moment. So you're kind of rounding through the back now. That's totally fine. Bring yourself halfway up for a moment, lengthen through the spine. Keep your left hand onto that block. Maybe you don't need the block at all, but maybe it's on a block, whatever height you need. Your right hand can be on the outer right hip for a moment. I want you to think hips square towards the side. Start to open up your chest towards the side and reach your arms straight up towards the sky. Twisting triangle. Lengthening through the whole spine. And exhale, start to bring the hand down. You can move that block out of the way. And step it back to plank pose. Lower down. Back bend, low cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Do the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. Back heel spins to the mat. Inhale, reach up, warrior one. And then straighten through that left leg, step the back toes in and bring your hands to your hips. So you're bringing that foot in maybe about like a third of the way or maybe even like a quarter of the way, however comfortable or however much you need to step in so your hips can comfortably square towards the front. Lengthen here. And with your hands on your hips, start to hinge forward over that front leg, your inner thighs drawing back. Lengthen your hips back, heart reaches forward, pause with your spine long, parallel to the mat. You can start to bring your hands down, maybe indulging in a little bit of a forward fold here, so a little bit of rounding in the upper back, that's fine. You can bring that block to the inside of your foot again. Try to come up halfway so your heart reaches forward. Bring your right hand onto that block, left hand to your hip. Draw that left hip back. Open up the chest towards the side. Start to reach that left arm up towards the sky. Twisting triangle, inner thighs drawing towards one another, drawing back. Lengthen through the spine, open through the chest. And start to gaze down and come out of this. So moving that block out of the way, stepping back to plank pose. Lowering down. Back bend of your choice. Downward facing dog. Come onto your knees for a quick moment. Come onto your elbows, clasp your hands out in front of you or like interlace your hands. Your elbows are shoulder distance and under your shoulders for a moment. Then curl your toes under and lift your hips up and back. This is dolphin pose. It's like you're in downward facing dog on your forearms. Your feet stay hips distance. Maybe you walk your feet in towards your elbows a little bit, but the spine still feels nice and long. Same thing when you were in down dog. Can you bend the knees, lift those hips further up and back? Press the forearms forward of you. Probably the best pose for your thoracic spine, that upper back. And then walk your feet back so you're in a forearm plank. Shoulders are over your elbows. And then just gently release down. Arms down by your sides. Rest your head to one side for a moment. Bring your forehead onto the mat. Inhale, peel head and chest. Lifting shoulders, lifting head and chest. Maybe you lift the legs, maybe you lift the arms, just lifting up locust pose, back bend here. And then bring it down. Bend your knees. Maybe you do what we just did, so the legs stay extended and you lift head and chest, maybe arms, maybe legs. Or maybe you bend the knees, grab onto the tops of your feet. Press the feet back so you're pressing the shins back. That lifts your head and chest. Press like you're trying to bring the feet out of your hands, like press them back. That lifts your chest up more, opening through the shoulders. Dhanurasana, this is bow pose. And gently release that down. And press yourself up and come onto your back, please. So this is kind of the peak of our practice here, is these back bends, right? So let's start with bridge pose. Your heels are under your knees. We did this in the beginning. We're going to hold this one now. Arms down by your sides. Inhale, lift the hips up, any height that feels okay for your back. Interlace your hands back behind you. Scooch the flesh of your shoulders under the body. Press the chest up towards the sky. Inner thighs draw down. Inner foot is heavy. Lift everything up. Gently release the interlace and bring it back down to the mat. So now, big pose here. You can either come into bridge pose again, what we just did, or bring your arms up to the sky. Then bend your elbows, bring your hands by your head. So elbows pointing straight up towards the sky, right? And you're going to be able to see that a little better in the next moment. So hands are down by your sides or by your head. Press into the hands. Come onto the crown of your head first, please. So crown of the head first. Sorry, this mic is escaping. Elbows straight back. So now you have your peripheral vision. You have your elbows in your peripheral vision. They're pointing straight back. And press your upper back into your chest. Then maybe you start to straighten your arms and lift your head up away from the mat, trying to bring your arms towards straight. I sometimes gaze at my hands, make sure that they're even, maybe walk my feet a little closer to my hands, lift everything up, trying to straighten through the arms, through the legs. Great. And to come down, curl your chin in towards your chest. See if you can land on the backs of your shoulders and bring yourself all the way down. So we're going to do that one more time. Option, obviously, you come into bridge pose instead. Option to come into bridge pose and put a block underneath your sacrum and make it super restorative. Option to come into upward facing bow again. So you have a second opportunity to do this. We opened up through the shoulders, through the upper back, we twisted, we are prepared for this. But please, if it had any sensation in the low back that was like pinching or ow, don't do it. Just don't. Maybe today's not the day. You tried, and that's awesome. If you want to do it again, reach the arms straight up like you're holding a block out in front of you. Bend your elbows, keeping them nice and parallel. Bring your hands by your face, so your fingers are pointing towards your shoulders. Come onto the crown of your head first, please. So exhale, lift, crown of the head. Elbows pointing straight back. Then you press the upper back into the chest. Maybe you start to straighten through the arms, lifting the chest up, opening through there. Maybe gaze at your hands if you can. Make sure that they're even. Hold. Gently curling the chin in, landing onto the backs of your shoulders, bringing it down. And just rest for a moment. So you can bring your hands onto your body. It's a huge pose. It's literally asking so much of our spine, but to do that, on a regular basis can really reverse the aging process, I feel like. So just opening up through that upper back really revitalizes the whole body. And have your strap handy. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg out onto the mat. Grab a hold of that strap. You're going to hook the ball of your foot. Hook the ball of your foot. Send that heel up towards the sky. You can maybe double wrap the strap if you'd like. This is just Supta Padangustasana. So just straightening through that right leg as best you can. Feeling the stretch in the back of the leg. Let's bring this into a little bit of a twist. Take both ends of that strap into your left hand. You can bring your right arm out to the side. Just start to drop that right leg towards the left. And as it starts to drop, you can maybe scooch the left hip underneath the right, so your hips are kind of even and square. Just moving that leg towards the left. Trying to bring both shoulders onto the mat evenly. Trying to lengthen your right side body, maybe feeling a stretch in the outer hip. Gently start to bring it back up. And we'll switch sides, centering out through the hips. Both feet flat on the mat for a moment. Then hook the ball of your left foot, send that heel up towards the sky. Maybe double wrapping the strap, extending through the right leg. Just holding here for a moment. Take both ends of that strap into your left hand. And you can bring your left arm out to the side. Start to cross that leg towards the right. And again, maybe scooch the right hip underneath the left so your hips are stacked. As you drop that leg towards the right, trying to lengthen through the left side body, trying to bring both shoulders onto the mat. And my elbow on the right side is like resting on the floor. Kind of gives me a little more stability. And gently start to bring it back up to center, centering out through the hips. You can let go of that strap. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Start to rock back and forth on your spine to come up to a seat. Extending both legs out in front of you. So this is Dandasana, staff pose. So I can move the flesh of my sit bones out of the way, move my inner thighs down, trying to sit up as tall and as high as I can on my sit bones, right? So this posture is challenging. So if it feels like a lot of work to sit up in this way, like maybe you're sitting on your tailbone a little more than your sit bones, give yourself some height. You can come onto a blanket, and that might be nice. So I sit up pretty tall in that pose, but it just feels a little more, especially, we're going downhill now, it feels a little more less taxing to have a little bit of height. So my hands are down by my sides to start, just lengthen, sitting up tall. Then reach the arms up towards the sky, lengthen through the front body, through the back body, through the sides. And exhale, forward fold over the legs. Hands falling wherever they may, right? If they're on the feet, you can think of peeling the outer edges back towards your hips. Can you think of lengthening through the whole spine? You can allow a little bit of rounding here, but I want there to be like a forward action. This is also a great place to use a strap. You can maybe just hook the balls of your feet and use that strap. And if you have that strap, you can maybe lengthen through your back a little bit more and kind of forward fold gradually from there. Gently start to make your way back up. You can release the strap if you had it. And come off of that blanket, move it out of the way, and come to lay back for a moment. And it might feel nice before we come into Savasana right away or corpse pose. Just have the knees bent, your feet out to the sides a little bit, knees bent. Arms down by your sides, or maybe even on your body if you want to feel your breath. Did a lot of back bending and we just did a big forward fold, so it might feel nice to, with the knees bent, give your low back some space. This posture also allows the spine to just find neutral and spaciousness. As you're ready, you can choose to keep the legs as they are, or you can extend the legs out onto the mat for full corpse pose Savasana. So if the legs are extended out, just can really release the legs so the feet can be let to flop open. Same goes for the hips. Arms are down by your sides, giving yourself the space that you need. And also, if you want props for this pose, give yourself that. Maybe a blanket underneath the knees. Elevate the knees a little bit. Really nice for your low back. And you can give yourself another supported back bend, maybe with the blanket or with the blocks. Just give yourself what you need. You can bring a blanket on top of your body if that's comforting. Relax all the muscles in your face. And let that relaxation move down the body. So the jaw, the tongue in your mouth, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your arms. Just visualize just wrapping yourself up in relaxation. Your belly, your back body, your sides, your hips, and your legs. Take a long inhale through the whole body and hold it at the top. And gently let it out your mouth. Just signaling to the body to find total stillness and relaxation. And start to lengthen your breath. And start to bring movement back to the body, moving fingers and toes. And gently float your knees in towards your chest. And reach your left arm up and back behind you. Rock to your left side, holding a fetal position for a breath. Your right hand can rest on the floor in front of your chest. And prop yourself up to a comfortable seat. Maybe propping yourself up onto a blanket or on a block, maybe sitting on your shins, whatever feels comfortable for you. And trying to sit up tall so your hands can be on your thighs. We worked all of these component parts to lengthen the spine and just feel what that offered you. Openness in the chest. There's a real vitality that can come from this work. Just sitting with that. Bring your hands at your heart, bow your head and lift your chest. Just deep gratitude for this body that carries you through life and for this practice. Open your head, or lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste. This is Fitscope.